Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be bringing you the much awaited Illaoi guide. I know I've had a few people asking me about it, and today it's been in the works, but today I'm finally bringing it out, and I wanted to go ahead and go over as much things as possible, as Illaoi is a bit more of a complicated character than some of the characters I covered in my previous videos. She does have a little bit more technicality to her, but you can ignore the technicality if you want to. If you just think Illaoi is cool and you just want to do some basic stuff and do some damage, she could definitely do that. So let's go ahead and get started. So a basic overview. Illaoi is a strong, neutral-focused set-play character. She excels at keeping opponents at bay with her S1 attacks and large, forward-advancing normals until she can use her S2 attacks to build up tentacles for extended combos and pressure. Using any S2 attack will spawn 1 tentacle per champion hit, with a maximum of 2. Using any S1 attack will prompt the tentacles to do a follow-up that varies depending on whatever attack she used, leading to a near endless amount of combo routes and block strings to get her in whatever situation she wants to be in. Okay, let's get into neutral. Illaoi normals are very good. She has a strong forward advancing stand medium for catching opponents in neutral both on the back foot and during pressure. Her crouch medium is very good as well. It's not quite as forward advancing as her stand medium, but it hits low and is really good for sniping dashes during pauses and pressure or after a recovery roll. Her lights are about average both on offense and defense, nothing too crazy here, and her stand heavy is a strong move as it's far hitting and strong to threaten with charge for the reset or to threaten Rekka or S2 after. Her grab is standard when there are no tentacles on screen, but when the tentacle is active anywhere on the screen, the grab will prompt the tentacle to hold them for Illaoi to do a 2H into air combo. Outside of her normals, the keystone of Illaoi's neutral is her S1 attacks, specifically forward S1. This attack is a Rekka, meaning it can be cancelled into itself until the final hit. Using the first attack and sometimes the second one is really good for fighting through opponents' blocks, as the first two are relatively safe to throw out. On hit, the Rekka will naturally combo on each button press up until the third final hit. This will slam them down and cause a small bounce. This is generally a grounded combo ender with no tentacles, as it gives good knockdown on its own and also gives an easy window to cancel into S1 super. While the Rekka is very strong on its own, remember that it's a S1 attack, meaning it not only does not create tentacles on hit or block, but it will also consume active tentacles also on block, meaning using it too often will deny Illaoi a lot of her better pressure sequences and combo potential, but make sure if you're using it when tentacles are active, to capitalize. Her S2 specials are all pretty far-reaching and safe to throw out even without assist, especially when charged. They make for really good options in block strings. Her different S2 attacks are down S2, neutral S2, and forward S2. Neutral S2 is a forward advancing mid attack that pushes enemies far back and spawns a tentacle on block or hit. On hit, it will cause a launch that can be picked up with back S1. Down S2 is a low hitting tentacle summon that, depending on charge, will track opponents nearly anywhere on the screen and lead to a knockup on hit that can be confirmed into combos with down S1. Very strong option to use during block strings, catches a lot of people going for a retreating guard or trying to walk away from her after her light medium heavy sequence. Finally, forward S2 is a leaping overhead attack that slams opponents into the ground on hit along with spawning a tentacle. A strong option to represent versus people who are frequently just crouch blocking versus your pressure. So let's start in the defense segment. Illaoi has about average defense. She has no armor moves or reversal option besides her ultimate super. Her lights, as many, are a bit stubby, but her crouch light can be surprisingly good at catching opponents during shimmy attempts and after a ground recovery during chase. As stated, Illaoi's only reversal is her S1 plus S2 super, costing 3 bars but dealing a ton of damage and being a fully invulnerable, large hitting forward hurtbox to catch enemies in both the gaps of their pressure or while they're being comboed by hers. There's not too much to cover in this segment outside of just basic defense like paying attention to high-low and assist and using mechanics like assist push block to get her back in the fight, as once she can restart neutral, she's back to being a menace. So now let's get started with some actual combos off these buttons. This is your basic bread and butter combo. This requires no tentacles, spawns 1 tentacle, and gives good knockdown position when ended with super. One thing to note is if you hold S1 while doing S1 super, it will spawn a tentacle on top of Illaoi. This is a super simple confirm for grounded targets to get an easy level 1. Very good option for when assists get caught up in the combo. This is a simple anti-air combo with no tentacles. This is a simple but effective and important combo to do off of a down S2 hit after your block strings. Requires no tentacles, spawns but uses 1 at the same time. This is a 1 tentacle conversion off of a grab. Now this is what I'll call a basic air rep. You can sandwich up to 2 of these into your combos to add on more meter build, screen space, and damage. For each rep, you'll need a tentacle already set. Standard combos that create and use tentacles cap out at 2, as you cannot create more than 2 tentacles at once normally. Now, using these conversions, you can basically make up Illaoi combos on the fly, depending on the situation. Some ideas for how to put this all together will look like this. So I've had an internal complaint that my current counterplay sections are mostly just showing parry windows, and that isn't always an option. As you start versing better people, these strategies will be less effective, so I'm going to try to cover some more internal weaknesses to exploit that don't involve parrying, and also show some parry windows that you can look for, as I do think it's still an extremely strong option defensively to represent in nearly every matchup. The first thing to understand about Illaoi is that her grounded neutral is quite strong. She can be hard to contest in most spaces for many characters, as her fast, forward advancing normals and far reaching specials are very good at denying the space that many people want to exist in. So if you're on a lighter character with shorter buttons, learn to play back and use her lower dash speed and run speed against her to get her to whiff, or in hopes that she gets caught out by a full screen option like a projectile or an assist call. Even for bigger characters, Illaoi can still be threatening. A character like Blitzcrank still has much shorter and slower options than her, meaning she dominates a lot of the roster in traditional grounded neutral, which comes to my point of being truly Which comes to my point of truly countering a character like Illaoi that can be an extreme threat for people looking to play a traditional 2D fighter 1v1. Use your assists. This is the first time in one of these guides that I'm going to directly tell you that assists are broken when used correctly versus characters like Illaoi. Assists are very important to manage, not just to throw it as often as possible recklessly, but to manage as she can still catch a lot of grounded assists even without intending to if called at poor times, leading to big punishment. The best assists to use versus Illaoi are low commitment, far-reaching options, like Blitzcrank Pull or projectiles like Echo Time Winder or Jinx Rocket. In some cases, it may even be worth putting the character with better assist options in the back pocket if neither character is very good on point into her. Some other good tips when playing versus Illaoi is focus on blocking low, as her only overhead is her pretty reactable leap S2 attack, which unless padded by an assist leaves her recovering in front of you, giving a small window to start your pressure. Now for parry windows, Illaoi is a little tricky as a lot of the moves that can be parried semi-consistently to shut her down can be charged, meaning there's a varying window to parry these moves, meaning you have to manually time these. This is another reason why I'm expanding the counterplay section to be more than just parries and dealing with 1 or 2 moves, as some of the more advanced characters are accompanied by more advanced pressure. The easiest and pretty much main one to watch for is her no tentacle back S1 or the final hit of S1 Rekka. Both are the same attack, but when done from the Rekka, she has a very small window to cancel Rekka 2 into Rekka 3, meaning the timing has a small vary window, making it much more consistent. The next one is her leaping forward S2 overhead. This move is -2 on block uncharged, meaning it's completely safe to throw and allows her to threaten high-low mix with very little consequences. As mentioned, it can be charged to change the timing, but the key is to react to the hop itself, as the charge section has Illaoi remain grounded until the attack launches. This will make the parry window feel more consistent other than reacting to the startup. Keep in mind that there is standing and crouching parry, and anything that's not a low, like a crouching light or a sweep, needs to be standing parried. That goes for those 2 moves that I just showed. Now the crouching parry is more situational, is seen a lot less as a result, but in Illaoi's case it could be potentially a good option to represent against her low hitting tentacle summon move when either charged after a light, medium, heavy string, or when used after a Rekka reset on block. And that's going to do it for this guide. I hope you guys learned something and you found something useful. If you did, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and check out my upcoming guides. I will be covering every character in this manner, so make sure you stay tuned. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.